Planet Zoo 2 is official. It has officially been announced and confirmed, not only by that little hint in the video in which I was featured. No, it has also been announced on the forums that they are officially working on a successor to Planet Zoo that is going to be released in 2026, as it seems, because obviously that little animation at the end of the video has just shown exactly that. Now, in this video, I'm just quickly going to talk about a couple of things. First, I want to address that big elephant in the room, pun intended, that we shall not be too worried about the launch. I mean, I've seen so many comments today, not only on the video, but also on my little post about it being the second Planet Coaster 2. I think there are many reasons to why I would not worry about this, but also we're gonna speak about 2 or 3 things that I wish for this game the most, like actually 3 things I really wish for as my top priority for the game, as we see my cell phone screen right now. Frankly, we haven't even known about this. Like when Frontier reached out to us for making the video, that was just genuinely about this anniversary thing, and I'm like super excited about this announcement, but I'm also super caught off guard as I do work normally, and I was like, oh my god, when everyone was going nuts on Discord and so on, I was like, okay, that is interesting. We're also going to quickly talk about the result of it, and also a lot of exciting things that may come with it. So let's quickly talk about that Planet Coaster 2 situation before we get into my top 3 wishes I have. So, of course, we shall address it the way it is. Planet Coaster 2 was a really bad launch. The game wasn't good at the beginning. The game lacked a lot of features from the previous games and obviously from Planet Zoo as another Planet game. The launch itself was kind of rough, and the following DLC we shall not even talk about. However, Frontier has been on a redemption arc for the last couple of months, and they have shown that only in the span of a year they have successfully reinstated a good game. I'm not going to say a great game yet, there is still a couple of caveats in, but they have really done their best to do that. And we also have seen now Jurassic World Evolution 3 having a way better launch. Simply not everything is perfect, however, a lot of the things we addressed during the Planet Coaster 2 launch and also later when we've been invited to Cambridge talking a lot about the future, well, you know, I'll get to that in a second. We talked a lot about, you know, what kind of mistakes they should avoid, and I think a lot of these mistakes have been avoided with the Jurassic World Evolution 3 launch. There is even an interview of Johnny Watts himself saying that they wouldn't change so much for Jurassic World Evolution 3 as a learning from the Planet Coaster 2 launch. So it's not even my own words, it is definitely more of the words, you know, from Frontier themselves, and also I can confirm from when we've been there. And it's super exciting. Now, Frontier is going to have 3 active games that have been released in the span of 3 years, which I'm certain that, unfortunately, as Planet Coaster 2 was the first of them all, has had the least time of their refocusing of the whole project, you know. A couple of years ago, Frontier has changed the leaderboard and have, you know, went back to refocusing on the creative simulation management games. That, however, is basically the whole franchise of Planet, and then also bringing the Jurassic franchise a little bit closer to the Planet franchise, as we've seen with Jurassic World Evolution 3. And yet again, there has been even another game announced for the year after, which may be potentially the first different game in that franchise. So there's a lot going to be, and we don't know what game that is in the upcoming year after, you know, but it is definitely going to be exciting to see what Frontier is cooking with this. But as I wanted to make that point, I think they will improve upon launch now, simply because Planet Coaster unfortunately had the issue of being the first one, and also I guess the most during the pandemic and during the layoff times in the gaming industry. So the game that suffered the most and effectively had the least time to recover before its launch. So I think we should treat it a bit with a you know, different context. Now, that said, let's quickly go to my top wishes, and I'll put a bit of footage in from a video I made a couple of years ago about the traversable area of Planet Zoo, I shall say. And I must admit, Planet Zoo brought in a completely revolutionary system when it comes to these kind of games. The fact that we were able to build zoos with individual pieces and animals could use it in the first place has been ridiculous, not at that time only, but also still stands today, that this is a pretty damn good thing. However, and I know it's a fast stretch, and I do understand if they will build upon what they already have and just slightly improve it maybe, but I do hope that in this area they are brave and courageous enough to do a huge step forward, maybe have some AI involved in it, maybe try to use the best advancements in all the gaming engines nowadays, and maybe even try to get some other stuff into their own engine in order to improve the traversable area a lot. You know, I think this is one of the greatest yet most restrictive features of the game, and by that I mean the sheer possibility to build whatever you want in the game and have the animals roam around your habitats is amazing. But the restriction we have due to, you know, that whole technology being a little bit older and restrictive, you know, led to the point that many habitats ended up being very dull in its usage, because a lot of the areas in your habitat won't be used by the animals due to not having a traversal area, animals not being able to climb certain pieces, or if they climb, they have insane glitches, and then creators ended up putting elephant grass there to just have it as a, well, actually as a fake element in the habitat. And I've even seen at some point people building specific walkways for the animals and put in elephant grass as a barrier in other areas so that they force them going into a certain area to make it look better and not have all the glitches. And I do really hope that they improve on that a lot by, you know, making sure that it's a lot more precise. You don't need that much space for the animals. Give them pieces that they can actually use to go through certain areas, and maybe even have some stuff like ropes or so in the game that actually are just ropes that can be climbed, and then we don't even need all the rope pieces, but just have a proper rope mechanic only for climbing, let's say, or like have specific pieces that you could also create null versions of, because, you know, I think in the Planet series, these kind of null versions of a piece that then becomes invisible, but offers the technical thing behind that, you know, having a path that is just the info for the guest to walk, and then being able to null that and have your own texture, your own pieces on it, would very well work as a climbing piece or flying or whatever as well, simply, you know, because it makes a lot of sense. And I do hope that they may go that way and give us a lot more control over making really interactive habitats with a lot more animations and stuff like that. That would be amazing. And sure, it's not a secret that, you know, we have one or actually two areas where we lacked a lot. I think the one area that is the most standing out for me personally is fully aquatic animals, because technically we have birds in the game. I can't say we don't have birds in the game, because we have birds in Planet Zoo 1, and quite some actually. And we also do have some sort of flying mechanics with the walkthrough exhibits, but as this is not really what people wanted to have at the end of the day, I think it's fair to say that, you know, we need a full aquatic and full you know, flying ability in the game as a feature. However, I wanted to really go into another area as well, and this is it's one point, because it's basically, I would call that point over here filling the gap, or actually making the full game experience, or whatever you want to say that, because, you know, as of now, I think we only had 50% of potential zoos, because so many other animals are just missing in Planet Zoo 1, so hoping for them to go here. But one thing that is standing out for me too is the small exhibits, or like the exhibits just in general, because these small exhibits are basically just animatronics, and for some animals I do get it, but for others, just like bigger snakes or also the iguana, let's say, they should be habitat animals in a way. And I understand if it's a bit harder to kind of achieve this, but then again, we also had meerkats and prairie dogs at the end of the day, and I wish that we get a bit more versatility to build different types of small exhibits. I think at some point, I must admit, I've never seen them as actual animals in the game. I've always seen them as kind of scenery pieces to put in when there is a need to fill in gaps or so. And I wish that this would be improved so dramatically that they become a more vital part of the game, and that building, for example, reptile house or like snake houses or whatever, becomes so much more relevant to the game. I really would wish to see that. It's definitely on my top list that these things, not only the aquatics and not only that, becomes in. But yeah, let's move on to the third point to make that video not too awfully long for nothing. But yeah, at the end of the day, there is one more point I want to talk about. I've really not touched upon in any of the other videos I made for Planet Zoo 2 potentially, or speculation videos. And I think I just came to realize lately, when I was playing a bit more Jurassic World Evolution 2 and I was 3 and I was driving around with a car, and I think there's one bigger point I wish to see, and that is some kind of interactivity in this game. Planet Zoo is already a freaking great game, and yes, we could talk about graphics, we could talk about all the features like pathing from Planet Coaster 2, and I'll make a video on that. But I think on a more meta level, a bigger level, you know, or like if you just try to zoom out a little bit more, what would really change the game's appeal for people, I think interactivity is one thing. Being able to play as a keeper, for example, having the opportunity to feed animals, or just in general have a lot more variety in enrichment. It would actually go hand in hand. By having that interactivity, get a bit of the Zoo Tycoon vibe, the Xbox Zoo Tycoon idea, and bring that into this game. Having fixed areas for, you know, animal feeding. We already have the animal keeper talks as a feature where they throw in some food. I would love to see dedicated animations for it, that animals come to a certain point. You could even have a, you know, fixed point for that, and then you can actually throw some stuff to them, or you can, you know, use a hose and spray some water over the elephants and all kind of stuff. You don't need to have a million things for one animal, but just a couple of animals having these interactivity would be great. Having maybe a car to drive around, like, again, vehicles and stuff has been a thing I always said as a huge lag in the game. Could be a really cool management aspect as well. But I want to really combine this all into the point of, you know, the interactivity of the game. Also for casual players, really would love to go there, which also goes hand in hand with the improvements of the workshop that I'm going to see. But yeah, let's go quickly to a conclusion, because I don't want to make this too long here. Now, I am beyond hyped. I think what I said in the video that Frontier has released still stands. The last time I've been jumping around in my room for excitement of a game, like crazy, has been Planet Zoo. And the reason for that is simple, because we wished for it, but there was really no sign for it to come. Now with Planet Coaster 2, it was again, not so well kept secret, and also Jurassic World Evolution 3 has been announced for a long time, and all other games, City Skylines 2 and so on. I've been excited for these games, but I've never been so hyped that I was shaking after I was seeing a trailer or something. And I feel kind of the same now, because I didn't know. I mean, everyone knew kind of it could be coming, but having the official exciting announcement now, having finally the 100% confirmation it is happening, makes me so excited. It has been the biggest game for my channel, it's no secret. It has been a huge impact on the channel. It has been a journey for so long with the different kind of projects we had, and knowing it's going to come very soon in a second installment, trusting in all that we've discussed at Frontier, seeing their real will to follow the community again, to listen to the community, to fix the issues, and frankly, announcing it super early, because normally Frontier was late April or whatever to announce that, and then go into the marketing. Now that is super early, and hopefully super early for people like me creating content, you guys creating content, feedbacking, you know, giving comments. So also go nuts in the comments with all of your ideas for this game, because Frontier is listening, they are reading it. So make sure to put it all down there, and hopefully that'll help to make this game hopefully the best of the 3 games that were released or will be released in this time. And at the end of the day, it's gonna be a hell of a dream for all of us, because beginning at the end of 2026, Frontier is going to have 3 active games in our genre that will most certainly be nurtured for them, because there would be no point in not doing that. And maybe having almost a DLC per game per month, because if they keep that kind of 3-month rhythm and having 3 games, you'll see a DLC every month, which would be ridiculous. And then having the best time ever with all the stuff they learn, and all the games sharing so much similarity in engine and in way of working, we could see a lot of synergy effects, and I am absolutely excited. Hopefully you are too. Now, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to not miss out on any news on the upcoming Frontier games, but also including Planet Zoo 2, which is now official, full circle moment. Have a good time. Thank you so much, and bye.